be having shortly. And we are lunging for our English predominantly right now. And the difference between the English and Western is not immense, other than in Western, you will allow them to jog and slow down. In the English, they will absolutely not want your horses to do anything other than track up, push forward, and never get behind the bit. Absolutely not. We are doing a variety of lunging over trot rails, which for any horse, English or Western, is a good idea. And we're developing your eyes to watch that you have the correct distance. So when we're lunging the horse over trot rails on the circle, now this horse knows trot rails from riding, and he has been lunged. He's a coming 4-year-old, Hanoverian enough when he's across. He's got a good stride. He placed third in the riding horse test in the fall at Evan. So he has some experience, but he's not really advanced. He was just started last summer and rode lightly this winter. The inside edge of the 4 rails are at approximately 4 feet. The middle's at about 4.5, and the outside edge getting close to 5. When CJ, the horse, hits the middle at about 4.5, that's pretty nice for him, pretty easy. 2/3 of the way out, he still finds it quite comfortable if you're watching his feet. If you get to the outside edge, he's having a really hard time making it. So it's up to you with each of your horses when you do this today to watch that your horses are hitting the middle and the correct place for your horse. Each horse is different. You might need more to the inside in a shorter striding horse. Every horse here pretty well is a warm blood, big thoroughbred, and a big Anglo-Arab. So everything here today has a good stride. So you should be aiming to increase the stride of your horse. It's very important. Through transition, the trot rails inside reins are to help elevate the back while keeping the head steady. Ideally, on the lunge, we're seeking to have our horse stretch down and forward and launch the bit, striving to find the bit, reaching for it. We're not cranking down the side reins to force their head there. We're trying to allow the side reins to be long and low enough to allow them to stretch onto the bit. And that is always the idea. If your reins become loose, a horse should automatically lower and stretch and try to find the bit. That is the ideal in dressage or English riding, and our horses should go on the bit, which is different from Western, where we want them to stay off the bit, respect the bit a little more. This is the opposite. We want the energy and power, engagement from behind. We want them to push onto the bit. In German, it's called Anlehnung, which means leaning on slightly. We don't want them heavy in hand pulling. We want them to have respect. So with the side reins, there's a variety. We do have the ones with the rubber donut. We do have some that are solid and have absolutely no rubber rings in them, which are even better, or solid leather. We also have some of the dry Epidudel, they're called, from Germany, or they are a draw rein type, to really encourage a horse to stretch its head forward and down, showing him the weight of the ground, lifting the back, opening the vertebrae. Horse is booted all the way around, protecting all 4 legs, and actually should have bell boots on the front as well. This horse is not shod, does not overreach. We don't have them on him, but we really should protect him. Okay, now we're going to move up, and you will notice that he is being lunged off the bit. Your bigger warm blood, as in Germany, they are lunged directly off the bit. With students, we don't allow the Barnum style with the rein going over the pole, as it works as a gag bit, it pulls the bit up while you're putting pressure on the pole. Very severe. If you know your horse, you're very soft, you have good feel, you can do it. But that's for a very advanced horse, very advanced handler. Off the bit is actually easier. I don't really advocate it. I don't like it with my quarter horses or the finer, smaller horses. As a horse should never even be led by the bit. You will never lead them in Western with 1 rein. By the book, you should never lead them by the reins in English either. The cavesson was made for that. So I prefer the lunging cavesson over this method. You will see some lunging cavessons and various side reins to other horses. Now, we're also able to lunge through the trot rails here, in side reins. We've got them a little loose and long and low for him to learn to do this and stretch today. So there's his trot, and he has a flash nose band. And he is starting to raise his back and stretch his neck. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to remove the side reins. And as we remove them, we are going to take him over the jumps. The side reins from this horse. Now, when you lead your horse in or out, if you have side reins on, you can cross them over the neck and snap. You are never ever to lunge a rider, barn style. You're never ever to lunge a rider or even lunge a horse with the reins crossed over the neck. Absolutely not. Now, if you look, we do have the reins twisted over his head with the throat latch to one of the twists. So that holds him correctly. Ideally, we should have this nose band up higher, 4 fingers from the edge of the nostril to the flash or to our cavison, and we want the nose band straight. Okay, that is ideal on the horse. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to lunge the horse. This is the first time being lunged over jump. It's a good way to introduce them to jump. But we're not going to have the side raise. We don't want to inhibit his mouth. You can do it this way, or you can do a circle, and on the lunge line, walk them down through a grid. So we can set up a grid on the wall, but you'd only be able to canter the one way at this end, through the grid, and then you'd have to rebuild your grid to canter them and take them through the other way. Whatever you do one way, you should do the other way. And if you set your grid up on this wall one day, then you should set it up maybe on the other wall the next day, and you can mix it up. Good way to introduce them to the brand new jump that we have made here. It looks new, so he's not going to be conservative. He's going to over jump it, and we're going to need to have the whip going, give him some impulsion to go forward and go over it. We do not have spurs on to lunge, but we should always have gloves on to lunge. Some people like the nylon lunge lines. I prefer the cotton web, but that's personal preference. And if you feel better without gloves, once you know how and you're experienced enough, it's your hands. And that's the truth. But you can get your hands hurt, especially with the nylon lunge lines, very easily if they're to pull. This horse shouldn't be pulling too much. He's off the bit. So it's a bit severe as it is in the first place. So we have to use gentle half halt, give and take with our fingers. So we're going to let Megan go ahead and do this. We have little wings built up here over the jump so that the lunge line is not going to get caught. And he's got an option. He can canter over that, but he'll have to trot here, or he won't make it. So the horse has a bit of an option. So she's going to do a couple circles and then push him out and over, and then she'll try and jump him over this one somehow. She can mix it up. So we'll go ahead and watch her do that for a moment. So go ahead, Megan. She's going to use the command walk, trot, canter, walk on. That is our command. We only say ho to halt the horses, and that is the only time, because some of these horses will end up going western as well, and we'd like to keep ho for safety. For students, if we're lunging students on, we want emergency brakes. We are not going to allow the horse to just go ahead and keep on going. If we want to stop the horse, they better know what the word ho means. That's the only time it will be used. So we'll go ahead, and she's asking to trot. When she's ready, she's going to put him through the little vertical. It's not quite level, but it's hard to adjust with the sound in here. Okay, what did we see there? We saw a total lack of impulsion and lack of whip, and he didn't go. He was just dying, so he didn't go. So now she's got to get the whip behind her, not walk to the horse with the whip there. The whip must be under her arm and the lunge line off the ground. Okay, so she's going to have to take him out there, and she needs to get the whip cracking much more firmly, and he has to go forward even into a canter. Okay. So she's got a loop close to her feet there. So she's got to be careful, get her loops organized or figure eight it so that the horse is able to go forward without getting caught in the lunge line or the rider. You'll notice, if you can focus in on the stirrups right now, that we have the stirrup leathers woven through the stirrup and the extra end back through so they do not slide down on the horse, hurting the elbows. He's in a dressage saddle. He's ready to ride when we're done. We just have the saddle on mainly for the side reins. We would not jump him in a dressage saddle. So the saddle is neither here nor there. We're not going to jump him today. Okay, so she's going to get a good forward impulsion with her trot and move him out and crack that whip and let him know that it's there and over the jump. There we go. Use some impulsion. Trot. Now just trot. You want to trot a circle and then over the other jump. Okay, now impulsion. Whip. Canter. Good. Into the correct lead and now trot. Try your trot rail so she can mix it up. She can go one jump, the other jump, trot rail, transitions, and this gives some variation to the horse, keeps him looking, keeps him paying attention, keeps him fresh. Canter. Good. Just soft with the hand. Yeah, give and take, always half halt. If they come behind the bits or their head's too low, we can raise or help them take the correct lead. You can raise your hand very much so and give a half halt and help the horse get the correct lead. Now he is a big boy. Just trot rails again. Trot rails again. Okay, so that was pretty nice. So I think he's starting to get tired, and this is his good side. He is a left-hander. So I think we're going to say that's enough of that for that side. And at the end, Megan can go ahead, and that's okay if you walk through there. And Megan can take him once to the right as soon as we do the next horse. Watch your lunge line, doesn't touch the ground. Always watch your horse. Okay, before you go out there, fix your whip. Yeah, whip first, up in the air, few twists around, under your arm, then go to the horse. You watch the horse, but control your tack. Okay, so we'll stop there for a moment, and we'll get a new horse. Okay, look. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, now we've got another horse in here. This is a fairly young horse. This is Lechon, 5-year-old, Hungarian cross. He has been chased with the whip. He's scared of the whip, but a lot of people think he's fighting and he's being a difficult horse. But what will happen every now and then, you'll notice he'll get really tight, get scared, turn his hip out, fight, and it is not because he's a bad horse. It's because he's scared of the whip, because he didn't accept it. So what we did with him already today, we took the whip and dropped him all over with the whip. We don't want him to be scared of the whip, we want him to respect the whip. So you gotta keep on a little bit and get the middle. And so we have this turnout. We've gone to double lunge over the trot rail for this horse. So now Diane's going to try double lunge him and get him over. But she's getting in front of the horse already. And what you cannot do is get in front. If we bisect in our circle here, and this is 180 degrees, in front of Diane is 90. Okay, that would be 90. What we want to do is have our shoulders angled 45 to 50 degree angle back. For us. Okay, so we want to keep the shoulders back with my horse. Your shoulder angle is vital. 45 to 50 degrees back. Okay, now we're going to try and get him to hit the middle of those trot rails. I'm just going to take the whip, make life a little easier for Diane. For us. Okay, now aim for the middle. enough. So what we want to do now, when you lose control, you have a horse that's hard to lunge. He's getting scared, turning out. Don't get the whip and start beating him, and chasing him, and scaring him. If you see a horse licking, it's because you've scared them, or they're scared. They clenched their jaw, held their breath, went, ooh, stop, and you scared them. Then they lick. They lick when they relax. But why do they have to relax? Because something freaks them out. Okay, so what do? Slow down. Better to do things perfect, walk and trot slowly, and get carried away. And now when you can, try and put him over that again. Just even trot him over too. He might just go over. Just trot him over. Because this is really, he's probably our best jumper. Trot. Don't get in front of him. Trot. Oh, where'd the whip go? Okay, try and keep good forward and polish and kiss and over the jump. Canter. Woohoo! Good boy. Good, easy bud. Good. Very good, Diane. Okay, you're doing good now. Okay. Now, what would the ideal be if we got him working real good? What would you guys like to see? Remember the video? Hochschule with their double lunge? High school with the double lunge video? Mm-hmm. What was he doing? Yeah, he was doing a figure eight. Canter, simple change, canter, simple change. He was doing the two. Okay. That'd be a little bit too hard today, but in a few days we should go do it. Okay, one more time over the jump. Yeah. Yes. Yes, it is. Yes. Yes, Bob, I hear you. I know it's close one. Okay, this one. He's over? No. Okay, let's get him over that. Good. And again. I'm going to say one more time because he's... Oh, you've got to get set up in the right place. Trot. Good trot. Good trot. Don't get in front of him. You're getting there. Stay behind him. Stay with the hip. Stay with the hip. Yeah, so straight down the wall, straight. and that's what you're graded on. Okay. Head, are you ready?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Mackenzie's going to go ahead and we're going to lunge Tatiana. Tatiana is a 10-year-old Chicaner mare that wasn't started very much at all until she was older, and she lost her baby this year. She's mainly a brood mare, so we're doing some work with her again. She actually is a very good jumper, very stiff. She's stiff as a board. She's typical Chicaner. You have to ask her. You cannot beat on her, make her. If you ask her correctly, she'll give you 110%. She has a tendency to go with her head too high in the air, lower her back. She's got the big heavy baby belly dragging her down. She is getting in better shape, but we want her back to come up, her vertebrae to open. And the trot rails are really helping to bring her back up. Now, she has dry X-Zugel. Dry X-Zugel are from Germany. They're draw reins, basically. And we're helping her to stretch and lower her neck down and lengthen her body. Now, we're not lunging her off the bit because she has a very sensitive mouth. She's not a horse to pull on you. And the only lunging cavesson we have that fits her correctly is this little cheap nylon lunging cavesson. But you know what? It works fine. I much prefer the lunging cavesson to lunging off the bit. We have ordered 5 new ones coming in from miniature size to heavy horse size. So from our little ponies up to the big workhorse team, we'll have one to fit everybody. So there'll be no excuse not to have a lunging cavesson. They're all leather with brass hardware. So they're very nice ones that I've ordered. What they do is encourage the horse to be soft and listen to the bit, not worry about their mouth. They have some weight on the nose for a good feel in the hand. The middle ring is for lunging off of, and the side rings are actually for long reining or double lunging for driving. And in former times, about 500 years ago, the side rings were actually used for riding. And in the Spanish riding school and Samour and France, a lot of the horses from 500 years ago for war times were rode in a shank bit with the rein in one hand and with the snaffle with one rein in each hand, or the cavesson. So it's like a Bozal hackamore. So there's some crossover between our Bozals and our Western training and our English training, and that's why I find the Baroque style of riding really intriguing right now. So she's starting to become better. Mackenzie's trying to find the correct placing for her feet, and she's showing improvement. So we've got the reins on. They're a little long, and I would like to see them shortened up a few holes, and so we can get her stretched down. So I'm going to get Mackenzie just to stop her and shorten her holes in the draw reins, about 4 holes on each side so we can see a difference. And during that time while Mackenzie's doing that, she died right in the rail. While Mackenzie's doing that, we're going to have a little question and answer period. So anyone have any questions?
When you're using draw reins like that, how do you know how tight or how long to put them?
Okay, so what we're going to watch anytime, always start warming a horse up for at least a few rounds walk and trot with no reins attached. So they're just free to go. Then attach your draw reins and start with them loose. Then as they go, just like this, mare a little loose, her nose is above the bit and she's fooling around, her head's up. Then we can go ahead and shorten them. Ideally, for your quarter horses, your hunters, it should be pole, neck, withers, back, and hip, all one level, or your young dressage horses. With training, as the horse learns to have engagement and drive off the hind end, they will elevate the pole and the front end will come up. So we have to watch, especially quarter horses, they do not get that pole below the withers. We don't want them dragging. If they're behind the bit and they're dragging, either you've got the reins too short or you need to get that whip going and get them pushing forward. We want them to push from the hind end, and they should track up. The hind feet should at least go into the tracks of the front feet. At a walk, if they have a poor walk, you put them on a smaller circle and you literally take the whip and you touch their legs and get them to push and walk. I would like to see the hind feet overreaching by about a foot. especially in these warm bloods, they should be able to walk. Each horse is different. Some can really walk, some can't. Any horse, you want to try and improve the walk as much as you can. It's the hardest gait to improve. Trot's the easiest. Canter can be improved, easier to improve than the walk for sure. Do improve your gait, don't neglect your walk. Now, the horse going along should keep their head level and look like they have one of those big exercise balls underneath their nose, and like they're rolling it along with their nose and keeping it level. So you want to keep the horse's head basically level and moving. You don't want the head dragging down. Their head's way too high in the air. You might have to lower your reins. You might go to the draw rein. You have to see what works. If it's too low on the ground, you have to readjust. You might even have to just raise your inside one several holes. If they're dropping the shoulder and they're leaning in, you can shorten the inside and raise it a tiny bit if you really need to. It shouldn't be done. Ideally, inside leg against the outside rein. Take the whip to the inside rib cage, push the rib cage out, get them bending. If they're really leaning with their shoulder in and their head out, you do need to raise that inside one a bit. If the horse is bowing his shoulder out and leading you, and if they're over bending, you need to shorten your outside rein a little bit, the same as riding. A solid outside rein contact. So each horse is different. Now she's not tracking up there, but sometimes we just need to let them relax. Maybe ideally she should be pushed more forward, but if you push her too much and she's nervous or tight, you might do yourself more harm than good. Right now she's got to think about where to put her feet. Lunging calves on draw reins. She has not been lunged a whole lot like this, so we have to read the horse. What is she thinking? How's she doing? She's having a little bit of trouble negotiating it. So Mackenzie might have to go a little farther towards the big door, towards A, and let her come through. Whoop. Yeah, she did kind of lose it there. So we're going to try and get her right to the middle. We just have to keep playing. Now she trotted over the wing on that little jump. Now you'll see her face is vertical. Good, that's coming better. There, she got up a bit. But as she puts pull on that bit, it raises her head, it pulls her head down, it relieves. When her head stretches forward and down, it goes loose. That's why the draw reins are nice. They get reward for stretching their head down. So right there, she's looking pretty nice. I would say she's flexing in the pole. She's flexing in the pole, she's staying pretty level. She's not as steady as I would like. She's almost tracking up. I would be trying to keep her into the middle more, trying to keep her probably toward, you walk toward that red box a little bit more. There, just right there. And that doesn't hurt her to trot there too. Now we're getting a good trot, forward trot, she's getting steadier, getting to the middle, much better. We're seeing improvement. That's what this is all about, it's training. Just lunging a horse in a halter with outside reins really is the only thing you do when you first start a colt, so you learn how to go around you. Other than that, it shows it's good for nothing. It does not train the horse. In fact, what it does is condition the horse, and all it does is get them in shape. So if you truly train them, you're getting something done. So I think she looks pretty good. I wouldn't want to put them a whole lot tighter, because then what you're going to do, you're going to inhibit the head and tie up the front end, and next thing you know, you might get the legs out behind her. So here she's able to push. So you watch the legs will tell you a lot. That's the important part of a horse. Watch how the feet move, watch the push from behind, watch the steadiness of the head. Watch her ears and what she's doing. She's pretty happy. She's not squishing her tail, she's not pinning her ears. She's interested. And there, she took a look and she goes, well, what's with this jump over there? So I think now we're going to take the side reins off that she's warmed up, and we're going to let Mackenzie jump her over the jump. Okay? Mackenzie, I'm going to get you to jump her in the other direction over the jumps. So and then we'll get someone else to go.
I have a question for you.
Good. Can you stop that?
Yeah.
It's because it's in her eye.
Yeah, it's in her eye. give it stop or something?
That's too loose. Should go in the eye, but these have to be on tight. These are not meant to be loose. Go ahead and put them tight so they stay there. Like crank them down on them. You don't need nose bands for them actually, guys. I'll tell you something, if you don't know what to do, rip the nose bands off, forget it. You got your caps on, crank them down right tight, hard, so they stay there. They're all padded. And the biggest thing is they have a tendency to be loose with anything. Okay, so now we're going to let Mackenzie go again with her and try and pop over a couple jumps. Do you want to go ahead and take your horse down?
Me?
Down to there and start warming him up, yeah. Get ready to go. You can start moving him. Okay, walk. With her hip.
Can I just walk?
Touch her on the bum a little bit. You're not going for a touch her with it.
No,
Touch her with
Maya.
it. Literally?
I'm gonna pass you guys.
Good. So make sure that you have your lunging cavison tight. It doesn't move. Yeah, this one. Keep the whip up behind us. Use the whip. Okay.
Not the middle.
Good. Girl. Trot. Okay, 45 to 50 degree angle of the shoulder. You want to keep your shoulders behind the horse. You just give and take cow pulse with the hand. The whip should always be pointed to the fetlock. The whip should be pointed to the fetlock. Good. Trot. Next jump. Whip to the fetlock. Keep your pie shape. You want to keep the whip up behind them at all times.
There.
Yeah, I'm going to lunge this horse because he's seeing a problem actually to walk. So I'm going to lunge him first, and I'm going to let Rosina lunge him. He doesn't want to walk for her. He's being difficult. And these side rings now, they don't have any give. They're very difficult to adjust because they don't have holes. And so they haven't been the favorite side reins used. But that's the set we have on. We're going to go with it. We're going to see what we get here. I'm just going to try and work to get him to walk. And I'm not going to get rid of the whip, because you have to use your whip to be able to push out the rib cage. Your whip is an extension. It's your leg. Your line is your rein, your hand. So we ride with both. We want to lunge with both. And you've got to accept it. Now he wants to keep taking off. So I'm just going to pull on him a little bit and give him some cow pulse and walk. So I like to take him right down to this itty bitty little circle. Walk. And he's still wanting to trot. So we'll come right down here and walk. And every time he does that, you see the risk I'm having is that he's turning the pin off. But if he's doing that anyway, I can't really hit on him anyhow. So he's got to have some manners Okay, yeah, you gotta be very careful. Don't get in front. Keep your shoulders 45 to 50-degree angles toward the back. Good boy. Yeah, aim your horse for the middle of whatever obstacle you want. Right for the middle, just like riding. Right for the middle of it. No, you gotta step out. There. Now you gotta walk toward the wall. Walk to the wall. Go to the wall. Go to the wall. Go to the wall. Good. How'd you guys like to have been sitting on that one?
Not me.
Right. Good boy. Oh, come on. Pull. Take a hold. Take a hold. Get to his hip. Get to the hip. Circle him up. Lunge him. Get him lunging again. Easy. Don't get wild. Just take your time. Yeah, good. Yeah, take your time. You want to get in there and be effective and do it, but yet calmly. Yes, you do. You are right. Okay. Okay, now, fix your whip. Put it under your arm, behind you. Push the horse back. Okay, Gerald's going to delete the side reins. Yes, especially those side reins. You can just stop that. Don't keep your view. Okay, try one jump. Whichever one you want. You can try this. Good. Good. Easy. Good work. That is your goal. I want to do a figure 8 over jump. Like if you jump something. Yeah, it's better just to circle around again because if they stick their legs then they either going to break the jump or hurt their legs. Okay, so it's okay. She ended up doing it. Yeah, stay behind her. Draw them down the wall. There you go. You got it. Good. Oh, went up too far. Okay, just circle there. Just a sec. Walk on it. Walk on it. Good one. And you can draw it over. If you feel I'm going too far to the wall. There you go. Good job. Easy. Hurrah. That's a boy. Draw the walk. For him, you can even walk. And you can jump. They're just little jumps. Yeah. So his biggest problem is speed kills, right? Goes to his head. And then he loses his mind. So just go slow with him. And just loose and relax and slow. Just very cool. Easy. Start. Easy. Back out to the wall. Good boy. Nice. Good boy. Good, Carter. Good boy. Good. Good. That's not so nice. Go to the wall, baby. You can tell us that you're out to the wall. Out. Over. Good boy. Good boy. Good, buddy. Good boy. Good. See the tone there? That's a happy. Good. You don't let it be that way. Good boy. Make him proud of himself. Good. Bring it, boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good Spartacus. Hey, try the other one when you want. Good boy. He's not alone. This way is to quit down. I take trot him again, trot him, walking forward, get your hip. Remember 45 to 50 degree angle of your shoulders. Do you understand that? Yes. Alright, like I'm serious, I'm not being, not trying to be rude about it, I'm just like you really understand what that means. Your inside shoulder shoulders before you're upside back. Because you keep space with your body language. Now you gotta go over again.